Alright, hello everyone. We are jumping right into the game. This is game 3 between Nsomnia and 2Calculate2Throw. I'm just going to get into this. I don't have my usual setup here. We're doing this fairly quickly. Had to drop there, which last night, so that was unfortunate. But I'm going to go ahead and introduce the teams.
Go fight.
On the left side is Nsomnia, it's Logicalion on Nubarak. We have Solian on Falstad, Psycho on the Lucio, French on the Greymane, and Speed Demon on Thrall. And on the other side, it's going to be X-Havoc on Joanna, Zemel on the Deckard Kane, iFeed on Zeratul, Colonel Pants on Dahaka, and Fear, apropos, on Gul'dan, who has an alt called Horrify. So, should be fun. Level 1 talent, Seasoned Marksman out of Falstad. Nubarak going with the Globe stacks. Standard stacking quest for Lucio. Echo the Elements, Braveheart. E-Build, looking like it's going to be on the menu out of Gul'dan. Deckard going with the Root stacks, and it should be noted that the Root stacks have actually had their requirement reduced significantly. Down to only 14. Iron Skin, Dahaka going with the health regen, and Zeratul going with that Q build. Keep an eye on these rotations. Right now, Deckard having to soak the mid by himself, but that's because camp's being picked up already by the Gul'dan. No one from Nsomnia picking up their own siege camp. Dahaka and Zeratul up on the top, looking to pressure, but we already do have a bruiser camp being grabbed by Greymane and Lucio at the moment. And kind of with the Falstad Thrall, you can pull this off. That double solo lane going to give you that flexibility. Meanwhile, though, Dahaka had to burrow charge just to avoid some damage there. But mid cleaned up, they're going to keep their rotations going. They do have Siege Giants in the bot, currently uncontested on the push. So these could potentially get quite a bit of value. But that said, Bruiser Camp now in the top lane. Leaving Zeratul to match up against that. Surprised we're not seeing really any attempt to push that in. Playing, I would say, rather safe on the side of 2Calculate2Throw here. Bruiser Camp now going to be grabbed by Deckard and Gul'dan. Not the fastest camp clear, but not too bad. Just Deckard doesn't really do a lot of damage at this point in the game. Especially, well, now he has Ruby, so that will actually help. Ruby getting another CDR. It's down to 10 seconds. So you could almost Ruby off every W. If you held W, you absolutely could. You know, I'm still not the biggest fan of the talent, especially when you have kind of more of a sit-back comp. Certainly will enable the Deckard Kane and Dahaka to get a lot of value, but I don't know, I've always just been a bit hesitant. But now the Bruiser Camp has been picked up. Not too much damage to the front wall. Actually, fairly even up in the top, but bottom now being counter-pushed. A little bit of wall damage. Good move by Dahaka and Joanna, pulling the Siege Giants into range of the towers there, so limiting the damage. Very, very even here on the bottom. And right out of the gate, we're seeing 2Calculate2Throw pretty much uncontested on this mid-objective. They're getting channels on both sides as Nsomnia looks to clear up the lanes. Gul'dan there getting knocked off the point. Maybe a little bit of a misplay there, as just staying on the point would have gotten a few more shots, always valuable. Now they're getting flanked from the Anub, so this is going from bad to worse here, and I don't know if iFeed's going to be able to get out of this. He is not. Down he goes. Down here in the bottom, Falstad almost finding himself a pair of pants. Does not get the kill. Joanna still stuck in the mid. All the shots in mid did go over to the side of 2Calculate2Throw, but top lane tends to be a bit more powerful than mid lane on this map. Mid lane is the only lane without really any camps. Bot lane, of course, always the strongest. Most games on this map ended through the bottom lane. But getting some pressure up here in the top, getting the wall down, will enable the Bruiser to push more. Fear needs to be a bit careful here. If this were the old patch, he would have just been dove. Deckard Kane coming top, though, should give enough of a defense Deckard only at the moment 4 globes. Actually going with the damage reduction talent. Kanai's Cube at level 7. I've always liked that talent a bit. I think if you're going the root build, it's kind of hard not to take Scroll of Sealing, but... Or the one that causes your W to give CDR. But, you know, I think it's a good choice. Ooh, big engage coming down here in the bottom. There's the root onto a noob. Tries to get onto Falstad. Pulls under tower. Falstad able to barrel roll out of there. Chase coming from 2Calculate2Throw. Meanwhile, Thrall still pushing up in the top lane. 2Calculate2Throw not finding that kill. A lot of resources invested into that. Not just, you know, just mainly in terms of soak. I mean, they gave up a lot to try to get some kind of root there into a kill. Haven't been able to find it. This is why Rubies I'm just not a fan of. Like, you really need a dive team for Rubies to work, in my mind. I don't know. I maybe we'll see it get value later. I've never personally been a fan of it. Not to say it's undreamable as a talent. I don't know. I've always liked getting the shielding potion more, just to mitigate some burst damage. Siege camp being picked up over here, bottom left, by Nsomnia. Siege camp being cleared up in the bottom by Falstad. So this one will push uncontested for a period. Greymane, meanwhile, is taking his bruiser camp. So better camp timings right now on the side of Nsomnia, getting their camps in the lane right as the objective's starting. And, you know, you may think, well, why put the bottom camp in lane now? Everyone's going to come bot and clear it. They are, but by getting the bottom lane, you are going to make sure that you always have vision of the entry point for 2Calculate2Throw or the exit point. So now they can give up a few shots to get just a little bit more lane pressure and then collapse down as needed. That said, they are about to lose their first tower, looking like the push starting to come in. Falstad could fly down. Thrall still has a bit of a ways to go, so at the moment it's 4v3, but we're seeing just a bit of sheepishness on the side. Oh, there's the big Horrify into the root. This is the opportunity. They got to get a kill, but the sound barrier absolutely mitigates it. Now Thrall on the flank with the Sundering. He's on the Deckard Cain. Greymane goes down, though. 4v4, but now Falstad flying down. Cocoon is about to break out. It does, but Fear is so low. Fear gets popped by the Anubarak. Now the chase is on. X-Havoc trying to get out. There's the slide into the boot by Lucio, trying to bring X-Havoc into the fight. This fight still ongoing, but now a big root potentially coming out. Oh, does collect onto the Thrall. Can they get the kill? There's no. Rubies was not active there. Burrow Charge back in, looking for something. There's the tongue. They find the Anubarak. Can they get the kill? Burrow Charge not available. Zeratul stepping up, chunking out a ton of damage. There's the root. Mighty Gust used. Zeratul goes back in, not able to get the finish. Really back and forth fight there. 2Calculate2Throw putting up a good fight, but just having a hard time securing those kills. That sound barrier, excellently timed by Lucio, allowed them to turn that 3v4 into a 4v4 very quickly. But now X-Havoc very lonely on the point. Anubarak is low, though, on the line. Has used this Burrow Charge. In a lot of trouble. Is going to get focused and is going to go down. Now X-Havoc, though, completely isolated. Body block. Nowhere to go. The isolation comes out. They're trying to get onto Thrall. There's the poison damage. Can they get it out? Thrall is still technically alive for the time being. He doesn't get the heals in time, but Colonel Pants dove a bit too deep, and he's going to drop. Now Falstad all over. Little bit of a misclick on the Horrify there by Fear. I have to imagine that was something went wrong with the mouse hand. That was nowhere near the enemy team, and now Fear going to go down. If that Horrify lands, that's a completely different outcome, but just kind of missed on the Horrify. Meanwhile, top fort has been pushed down, so Nsomnia getting a big lead in this game at the moment. Joanna gonna have to clean this up. Rest of the shots going bottom. Siege camp is available. Looks like Nsomnia wants it, and I have every suspicion that they are indeed gonna get it. Every suspicion, I should say, if I were speaking English, which I thought I was until recently. Now starting to push up mid tower. I like this move. Softening up these front walls. Any damage you do to front walls in between phases pays off, because those are, of course, shots going directly onto the structure itself, and that's one step closer to shots going onto the keep. Gul'dan going to clean up these siege giants down here. Mid fort still healthy. Dahaka rotating. Needs to be really careful. In a bad spot here. We saw a bit more of an aggressive rotation from Falstad and Greymane. I think Dahaka goes down, but that said, playing safe. They don't know where the enemy team is. Going to grab their Siege. Bruiser, on the other hand, being picked up here by 2Calculate2Throw. We're all in Zeratul, just doing solo lane stuff. I know how it is in the solo lane. You feel like you never get attention. But, I'll give you guys some attention. I'll give you so much attention. You have no idea how much attention I'll give you. Alright, over here in the mid lane. Gabba. We see Joanna stepping up, looking for the engage. Thrall's not here. There's a big root, but the sound barrier is going to save Falstad from this diving Zeratul. The sound barrier, though, is falling off now. Looking for the re-engage. They maybe have Greymane a bit isolated, but not really picking a target yet. Root onto the backline, going to be separated out. There's the sleep. Dahaka now coming in. He's going to look for the tongue. French is in the Worgen form, so we'll have the disengage to get away. Logicalia, though, could drop the poison damage. No, has the W for the shield. There's a big flank sundering. That separates out Dahaka. Horrify used to make sure Dahaka can get out of there. Joanna going back in, trying to get the engage, but they're just not finding the kills at this point. And it's in an older patch, you definitely see a lot more aggression going under the towers, but you just can't do it anymore. And Nsomnia manages to survive that. Now much closer to 16, only about a third to a quarter now of the level away. 15 still on the horizon on the side of 2Calculate2Throw. So they're going to soak what shots they can. They're doing a good job getting onto the objectives early. Nsomnia generally approaching a bit later. But Nsomnia has just gotten so much value on the map in terms of macro. Looks like 2Calculate2Throw, though. They're willing to defend this into 16. A bit risky. Colonel Pants now in a bit of trouble. Here comes the engage from a noob, but the root is going to disable Greymane's charge. Zeratul, meanwhile, picking up this bottom structure. 2Calculate2Throw about to lose their fort. There we go, but top keep should go down too. So teams fairly even at this point, all things considered. Despite being down a level, very close on the macro. Just need to play safe until they find 16. Zeratul's still sticking around down here. Here comes a Nubarak Greymane on the charge. They may have seen him. No, he does manage to blink away. Good move there by iFeed. He doesn't grab that last quintuple shot, though, so that's going to be 5 shots going right into these towers down here. Pew, 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 pew! Gotcha. Now, looking... Both teams kind of positioning up for a fight. Joanna goes in, finds a noob. Gul'dan's starting to throw those E's out. Level 16 now here. Now it's a great time to take the fight. They have the choke point. There's the sound barrier. Doesn't land onto Lucio. The sound barrier comes out once again. These sound barriers have just been insane. Now the separation out onto iFeed. Gonna bait out the stay a while and listen to try to get the Anub kill. They do, but they trade out for Joanna, and now Dahaka in a ton of trouble. He does have the rubies over here, but he doesn't find them. Tries to retreat out and actually pays for it. And that's the other downside of rubies, is you're relying on your team to recognize when they're out. Dahaka could have been full health. Rather unfortunate. Now Boss gonna immediately be turned to with the triple kill. Those rubies, remember, they heal the same as regular potions now. That has just been buffed so many times. Boss picked up, gonna start pushing towards this bot lane. Siege also gonna be grabbed down here for a pretty epic push. Deckard wants to start setting up potions now up here. So that way the team has them. He did go the super potion, so it's very important to get those on the ground early. And for the team to save those for when they get dove. Joanna stepping up. Gonna blow the Iron Skin early to help just get a little bit more siege damage. Doesn't look like we're gonna see Nsomnia really push in with this. Instead getting value elsewhere on the map. They're looking at Bruiser Camp potentially up here in the top. They're looking at this mid wall. Looks like they're gonna get it. This keep wall still taking damage. And there's a pick off onto Dahaka up in the top lane. It's a sad boy right there. It's a sad boy. Bruiser Camp going to be grabbed. That's going to push immediately onto this wall. Might be something to get pressure up with. With the Dahaka down, they have an opportunity to get some double shots here. Faustat up in the top, Thrall already on the bottom. Red kind of has to pick their poison here. Down, they know they can take a 4v4. And given this map, once you get down, it's hard to come back. So they really can't waste a lot of time. They will have Dahaka Burrow up, who can join this mid-fight. But Faustat, meanwhile, is still channeling these top shots. And half the shots down for both towers. That's going to be a lot of damage to make up on the side of 2Calculate2Throw. Now stepping up. There is the root combo, looking for it, doesn't find anyone. Iron Skin used, Gul'dan separate out. Stay a while and listen, tries to come in, but the Cocoon interrupts it, and now Gul'dan is just in a world of trouble. Down he goes, Sundering gonna help secure the kill now onto Zemel. Zemel using the Stay a While and Listen and the root, but he's just so low, he's not going to survive. Zeratul goes in, finds himself to Faustat, but the Haka now in a world of trouble, just buying time with that Burrow, but he's going to drop Zeratul at the same time, and that is 4 kills to 1, and Nsomnia should be able to open up a big advantage with this one. Still quite a few healthy shots up in the top. This mid keep is actually going to drop here to the last volley. Pew, 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 pew. There you go. And top may actually drop here as well. So this is a pretty dire situation. Coming back this late on this map is difficult. Pretty much the only thing that you can do now, because you have a Joanna, you can't really force fights, is you just have to hope the next objective is a single shrine. Hope that you can get the enemy team, like, and limit their options enough that they have to fight you, and then from there get a 5-wipe into a boss and core rush. Of course, that's a lot harder now than it used to be, cores being more powerful. This core particularly bringing the whirlwind pressure. Top Bruiser Camp going to get picked up here. Level 20 is, of course, already here. And this auto attack build from Faustat coming along nicely, especially now that you have the Nexus Frenzy to pair with that Giant Killer. And that's really one of the things Lucio brings that we've seen, is that even when the enemy gets their engage, you drop the sound barrier, it's such an effective disengage. The enemy team sticks around, they have so much they have to do in terms of trading up, or they just have to wait, and in either case, you can disengage that fight a lot with the speed boost as well. So Lucio and Anubarak both pairing up well to make sure that Nsomnia's only been getting the fights they want. Siege Camp has been picked up in the bottom. No Siege Camp here at the moment, but looks like they want to push up to this mid keep. We're going to start seeing the backs come in. Zemel starting to back here. The move onto the keep is coming. X-Havoc stepping up. Keep down to about 60% health. And now, I mean, they can try to chase, but there's really no point. I mean, the Mighty Gust, the Sound Barrier, the Sundering, any one of those could just completely disengage a fight, even if they somehow got the great engage off the Blessed Shield they need. They're going to rely a lot on this Deckard level 20 on the side of 2Calculate2Throw to get back into this one. That Deckard upgrade basically makes enemy heroes useless for about 3 seconds, and that includes silence. And that's going to be big. They need to get that onto Lucio to prevent the sound barrier and to prevent the speed boost in order to secure the kill. Because if either of those are up, I don't know if it's going to happen. That said, we have seen... Alright, here comes the engage. Blessed Shield has been used. Anubarak just completely locking down the entire back line. There's the 4-man Sundering. My goodness, Horrify used to try to peel Joe out. There's the Cocoon onto Deckard. Fear and Feed both low. Faustat down in the back line looking for Fear now. Fear has used the Mnemonic Circle. There's the Stay a While and Listen, but this is strictly going to have to be used for disengage. No deaths yet, but that is a win on the side of Nsomnia. Now, Joanna trying to go back in. Here comes the combo. Has the Iron Skin. Silence onto the Anub. Don't know if they're going to really get much off that, because Anub's just going to walk away, let it fall off, and... You know, Sound Barrier up again here in 6 seconds because of the Bossa Nova. So it's just going to be even harder, as now the core taking direct shots from this shrine. Zeratul wants to get onto this Faustat, and Uberak hovering around the back, ready to peel. Here comes Greymane, dives in, finds himself a Gul'dan. Joanna trying to make sure Dahaka can get back out, but now the question is, how does Joanna get out? There comes the root. Faustat flying back in, looking for the Gust. No, he gets separated. Does he go down? X-Havoc is so low. Here comes the heals, and he's going to survive thanks to the Lucio. He does. Zeratul not able to get the finish now, trying to get away, but he is not going to do it either. And that could be game. a hell of a series the first two games, but this one looked much more dominant on the side of Nsomnia as they now turn their attention to the core. And with the shields down, this is by far the weakest core defense tool in the game, in my mind. Once you get on the core, it's completely irrelevant. So that's going to be it. Alright, well, apologies to both teams that I had to pick this up the next day. Thank you to Logicalia for sending me the replay file. And sorry, I will get this up onto YouTube as part 2 of your series. That way you can always look back on and reflect. Thank you again for your patience, and apologies again for ending the cast last night. That's going to be it for me. Take care. Bye.